everyone, I am Angeline Dayot Narciso, together with my group mates Clark J. Bahamonde, Adrielyn Cadazale, Irish Eltanol, JV Abula, Christine Cajente, and Lantaka Shelamay, Meletero, Marie Chris Teguan, and Raymar Saikon. We are the Group 4 reporter, and our topic is all about Torquay production. So here is the topic outline. Introduction, housing, management practices, disease management, and the summary. And for the objectives, by the end of this discussion, participants will able to first, understand the historical background and domestication of Torquays, and the second, identify and describe the two species of Torquays and their subspecies. Third, explain the management practices for brooding, sanitation, ventilation, and lighting. And the last, understand disease management strategies including nutrition, immunization, biosecurity, and cleaning protocols. So for the introduction, the earliest Torquays evolved in North America over 20 million years ago. They share a recent common ancestor with grouse, peasants, and other fauna. Domestic Torquays came from the wild Torquay, which is Meleagris gallofabo, a species that is native only to the Americans. In the 15,000, Spanish traders brought some that had been domesticated by indigenous Americans to Europe and Asia. The bird reportedly got its common name because it reached European tables through shipping routes that passed through Torquay. On a continent where fine dining still included eating storks, herons, and bustards, the meaty succulent Torquay was a sensation.
The wild torquay is one of two species of torquay in the world. The other is ocellated. Torquay Meleagris oxylata of Mexico and Central America. This torquay has irregular plumage of blue, green, and brown, and featheredless power blue head pickled with red and orange fleshing. Males possess a unique cap-like crown that enlarges during breeding season. They make a whistling noise instead of the clucks and gobbles of the wild turkey. Turkey management practices have evolved from years of practical experience coupled with scientific research. The care of management of turkey and location is facilitated and health and many other factors.
So there are two types of turkey. First, wild turkey and domestic turkey. For scientific name, Meleagris gallofabo, Linnaeus, 1758. So it has 6 subspecies. First is Meleagris sylvestre, Vialo, 1817. Next is Meleagris oscula, Scott, 1890. Next is Meleagris gallofabo, intermedia, Sennett, 1879. And Meleagris gallofabo minami, Nelson, 1800s, and Meleagris gallofabo mexicana, Gull, 1856. Meleagris gallofabo, Linnaeus, 1758. So for the range, the forests of North America from Mexico, which they were first domesticated in Mesoamerica throughout the Midwest, Western, and Eastern United States, and into southeastern Canada. So for size and ecology, an adult male or tom or gobbler normally weight for 5 to 11 kilogram or 11 to 24 pounds and measures 100 to 125 cm or 39 to 49 inches in length. For the adult female hen is typically much smaller at 2.5 or 5.4 kilogram or 5.5 or 11.9 pounds, and it has 76 to 95 cm or 30 to 37 inches long. So for the second one is ocellated turkey, scientific name Meleagris ocellata, Cuvier, 1820. It has first seen in the forests of the Yucatan Peninsula, Mexico. Size and ecology, the body of ocellated turkey has an overall length between 35.4 or 248 inches or 90 to 122 centimeter. And for the body width of 7.9 to 10.6 inches or 20 to 24.7 inches, and the standing height of roughly 224 to 299 or 57 to 76 centimeter. The typically lifespan of ocellated turkey is between 3 to 5 years.
Housing design and equipment. So first is brooder houses. These are specialized houses that provide warmth, feed, and water for newly hatched turkey poults. They typically have controlled temperature and ventilation system. Next is heating equipment. To maintain the right temperature in the production environment. Next is feeding system. Automated feeding system that distribute feed through a network or troughs or pads throughout turkey houses. Next is egg incubators. Specialized incubations that hatch turkey eggs and control temperature, humidity, and airflow. Last is bedding. Litter materials like wood shavings, chopped straw, or sawdust.
So, curtain-sided turkey houses. Curtains can be opened and closed to regulate airflow and temperature. So, the side walls of the house are made of fabric or plastic curtains that can be opened and closed. Next is the floor system. The floor is covered with a bedding material like wood shavings, straw, or sawdust. The next is the free-range or pasture-raised systems. The outer spaces allow the turkeys to exhibit more natural behaviors like foraging or roam.
So management practices. So there are different kinds of management practices in turkey production. First is brooding. So brooding, which is the term, refers to the period of the poult's life extending from day old to about 6 weeks. Poults usually placed in the brooder rings for first to 5 to 6 days, then from 7 days to 5 or 6 weeks of age depending on the sex of the bird and the interrogator guidelines. They are given from 1 to 1.5 square feet of floor space per bird. During this time, the poult needs supplemental heat, special starter feed, and protection from exposure to disease. One method of reducing disease exposure is by separately locating brooding phase from growing reproductive phases. Next is the sanitation. So, in sanitation, waterers and feeders, both drinkers are routinely sanitized 2 or 3 times a day during the first day to avoid respiratory and other disease problems. Often, the drinking water is chlorinated to a level of 2 to 3 ppm total pre-chlorine measured at the drinkers. Dirty water should be removed and dumped outside the barn, and each drinker scrubbed with a brush using an approved disinfectant. So next is ventilation. So in ventilation, fresh air is vital to the poult's survival and subsequent performance. There should be adequate ventilation to supply oxygen necessary for the bird's respiration, maintain comfortable temperatures for the birds without causing drops, remove excess moisture, minimize dust, and maintain good litter conditions. Next is light. So in light, most producers do not restrict natural light for poults. Some will leave lights on all night for the first 2 or 3 nights only. Poults should be checked every 3 hours during the first day or 3 nights. So overall, the management practices for turkeys involve several key considerations. During the brooding phase, which lasts from 1 day to about 6 weeks, poults are provided with supplemental heat, special starter feed, and protection from disease. Sanitation is crucial with waterers and feeders sanitized regularly to prevent disease. Adequate ventilation is also essential to supply oxygen, maintain comfortable temperature, and remove excess moisture.
Space. The amount of space allowed per bird varies with the environment, sex, and market weight, but is generally 2.5 feet per hen and 3.5 square feet per ton. Many operators give the toms the space vacated by hens since the latter go to market earlier. Hens are usually grown for 14 to 16 weeks and toms from 17 to 21 weeks before being marketed. Ventilation is one of the most square important considerations in brooding and growing turkeys. The minimum fresh airflow should be 1.5 centimeter per pound of body weight at all age when the barn is filled to capacity. Ventilation rates can be adjusted to remove dust, moisture, and to provide adequate oxygen and temperature control. To remove moisture, the temperature inside the barn is allowed to increase from the body heat of turkeys and or with supplemental heat. Additional moisture is picked up by the warm air and exhausted from the barn during the normal ventilation.
Hi, this is Mary Chris, and my topic for today is the disease management and control. The nutrition and the bird health. Poultry are fed diet comprised primarily of grain, protein supplements like the soybean meal, the minerals, vitamins, and fat. The byproducts ingredients such as a wet bran, bakery byproducts meal, meat meal, or dried brewers grains are sometimes used when they are cost effective. The approved growth promoters like batricacin and coccidiostates may be added to feed in small amounts. The mold inhibitors are often added to prevent the development for the myxotoxins which are harmful for the poultry. Hormones are not approved for poultry and never included in the feed or water of the commercial poultry. So, the turkey flocks may be utilized 4 to 8 different diets from hatch to the market age. So first in the disease management is the immunization. Immunization, it is the one of the most beneficial and effective management tool available for the prevention of this or the suspension of the infectious disease. And there are two types of the immunity. First of immunity is the passive immunity. So passive immunity, it occurs as antibodies in the yolk of developing embryos derived from the material plastin, and it is present for 2 to 4 weeks in the blood of the newly hatched poultry. The presence and the level of passive immunity in the poult is therefore dependent on the presence and level of the antibodies in the material parent. It is generally effective against the viral disease, but less to almost ineffective against the bacterial infections, like mga mycoplasms or the salmonella in the turkey. So second of the immunity is the active immunity. So the active immunity, it occurs when an antigen is introduced and processed through the bird's immune system, resulting in various protective responses. These responses include the production of antibodies or the macrophage cells, which is act to prevent the bird if the bird is re-exposed to the antigen or the disease agent. So the active immunity can be produced either by living or inactive antigens like the vaccines and the bacterians, or maybe the combination of the two. So the second of the disease management is the biosecurity. So biosecurity, it is the utilization of measures which can stop or slow down the introduction of the spread of infections into or between components of the production system. The measures include allow necessary visitors to the production site, install fence enclosure control movement of the workers and equipment between barns, production sites, and age group provided will manage the footbath, shower, and protective clothing, and also the strategic points. Biosecurity measures, it is the one of the important aspects sa atong poultry production. So to the biosecurity measures, you need to take note nga it is gamay lang nga allowed nga visitors or makasulod sa production, and before sila makasulod na sila yung mga security measures nga agian, just like a foot bath, shower, or mga well-footed or mga ang mga nalay PPE or mga authorized person lang ang makasulod sa poultry production. Third of the disease management and control is cleaning and disinfecting houses and equipment. So when poultry are removed from houses, the buildings and equipment should be carefully cleaned, yes, limpyuhan, and to disinfect before the new birds are introduced. The manure, including the ite, should be removed immediately from uh, from the poultry to an offsite location. So, a successful cleaning and disinfection protocols should be include ang pag-remove sa ite and the removal of litter and the manure, uh, through wash down the interior of the house, all the equipment, preferably using a high pressure washer, and also the application of the suitable disinfectant solution. After mo i-remove ang mga turkey sa poultry houses, it is necessary to clean. Limpyuhan mo ang poultry house, and also the most important is to wash and disinfect the area, also to wash ang mga equipment na ginagamit like feeders, waters, and etc. And also, it is important to dispose of properly ang mga manure, mga ite, or ang mga litters yung gigamit to control sa mga ite. And it is important, usa ni mo i-introduce ang lain na birds. That's all.
So next is the environmental issues. So we have here the 5 environmental issues. First is the location and facilities. Second, air quality. Third, waste management. Fourth, the flies. 5, dead birds disposal. Next is the handling and loading. So, number 1, moving and handling turkey. Turkeys are often moved at night to reduce the stress of heat and because of light. Dimming of the barn light has long been employed to create a less stressful environment for catching. The second is the transportation condition. Common sense requires turkey producers to adjust their hauling schedule to avoid inclement weather. A loaded vehicle should not be left standing for any extended period of time. The length of it time and loaded vehicle may be left standing depend on the circumstances. So in the cases required stop or the inspection station, truck maintenance or etc., the bird's safety should be considered and adequate steps taken to ensure air circulation and protection from the environment extreme.
Summary: turkeys require well-ventilated spacious housing to ensure healthy growth and development. The space requirements that have adequate floor space to prevent overcrowding, temperature control, ventilation, and lighting. Effective management practices are crucial for optimizing turkey production, involves the management and biosecurity. Preventing and controlling diseases is essential for a successful turkey production operation, involves the vaccination. Monitoring health, treatment protocols, isolation, and quarantine. Implementing these practices can help ensure healthy and productive turkey flocks, leading to successful turkey production.